So what's your first question? What's the most pressing, most exciting question you got going on?
Right now, it is what is the difference between working with the dominant negative emotions and the abundance mindset, and what is the difference, and how do they uh, collaborate?
Yeah, so the difference between a dominant negative emotion and having an abundant mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see those kind of as two different things, but they kind of relate. So a dominant negative emotion is basically an emotion that we continue to practice, which I would say for most people is their dominant source of resistance. So most people carry 1 to 3 what I call dominant negative emotions. So for most people, not good enough is a very common one. Feeling stuck or powerless is a very common one. And it's typically rooted in childhood. And the way you identify those dominant negative emotions is by looking at patterns of circumstance, past and present. So if you look at all of your past relationships and you look at the negative emotion that presents itself in all of these relationships, and it's always the emotion of them making you feel not good enough. And then you look at other circumstances, maybe your bosses always make you feel like you're not good enough. And then you trace it back to childhood, and you had a parent that was very judgmental and criticizing that always made you feel like you were never good enough. So when you notice that you have a pattern like that, those are what I call dominant negative emotions. Most people have 1 to 3 of them. And those are the things that when you clear them, you have your most significant outer reality shifts. Now, in the context of the abundant mindset, well, your abundance is going to be a reflection of the emotions you feel, the thoughts that you practice, the perspectives that you carry. So if you are carrying a dominant negative emotion of not good enough, then that's going to impact your level of abundance. It's going to limit the abundance you let in based on your perception of not good enough, right? Or if you've got this strong belief of a dominant negative emotion of feeling stuck, then if you're practicing that vibration of stuckness all the time, then you're going to be capped in your level of abundance because reality has to continue to reflect back to you circumstances that reflect you feeling stuck.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So yeah, it does. It opens up a lot.
Yeah. And does that match a specific circumstance or context that you've been reflecting on in your life?
Not, I've been feeling more emotionally free, but
Okay.
my mindset haven't really changed yet. So that's why I asked, like, if the mindset is something I have to practice with affirmations, or will it come with the work, with the emotions?
You don't ever have to boost the positive. So the biggest, well, I don't want to say the biggest mistake, but one of the common mistakes I see in people who practice the law of attraction is when they have a negative emotion, what they're doing is they try to boost the positive to compensate for the negative. So if they feel like they're not good enough, then they're going to do affirmations, they might do positive aspect lists, they might do focus wheels to boost the emotion of good enoughness to try to overcome the not good enough, right? And that's why people need to do that every day, is because they're not dealing with the not good enoughness. So vibrationally, they're always pushing against it, right? And that's why alignment is effort for most people, because every day they're always doing these morning practices and these daily exercises to compensate for that not good enough feeling. And the real path to that high and consistent alignment that you want for the big manifestations is by dealing with the not good enough. And when you really effectively deal and eliminate that not good enough perspective, then you no longer have to push against it, and it's not in your attraction point anymore, right? So naturally, your state of alignment becomes much, much less effort because you're no longer pushing against these negative emotions.
All right.
Make sense? So you never have to boost the positive. It's about really eliminating the negative. And once you eliminate the negative, there's no longer a need for boosting because you're back up at your natural state.